Good day to you, mga ka-learners! Welcome back to another lesson on earthquakes. In Lesson 1, we learned all about the types of earthquakes. We also learned how to detect and measure their magnitude and intensity. In this lesson, we will look at the effects of earthquakes. At the end of this lesson, you will understand how earthquakes affect people and the environment, and find out what safety measures you could follow in case an earthquake occurs. Earthquakes can be frightening experiences for anyone. When a strong earthquake takes place, there can be great losses in lives and property. Trees fall, electric posts sway, wires snap, and so on. Earthquakes produce various damaging effects on the areas they act upon. The worst cases lead to loss of lives and heavy damage to structures. Tsunami. A tsunami is a huge, fast-moving wave that originates on the ocean floor when an earthquake occurs in the middle of the ocean. When earthquakes happen on the ocean floor, waves spread out from the epicenter like ripples from a stone dropped into water. These waves, however, can't be outrun. They reach speeds of 800 kilometers per hour. This lets them cross the ocean in less than a day, as fast as a commercial airplane. The last tsunami to hit the country came from the 1976 Morro Gulf earthquake, which happened on August 17. That was a magnitude 7.9 earthquake that had its epicenter in the Gulf of Morro in the Celebes Sea. Waves reached as high as 9 meters. Yes, taller than most houses, with an official death toll of almost 4,800 between Region 9 and 12 alone. It also left almost 100,000 families homeless from both regions. Destruction of buildings. The July 1990 Luzon earthquake is probably the most famous one in our history. Late afternoon, July 16, 1990, a massive tremor tipping the then widely used Richter scale at 7.8 struck northern Luzon, leaving many parts of the country's main island in ruins. It claimed the lives of 2,412 people and destroyed buildings in at least 4 cities, the hardest hit being Baguio. It took out the Hyatt Terraces Plaza, Nevada Hotel, Baguio Hilltop Hotel, Baguio Park Hotel, and FRB Hotel, taking the lives of their guests and hotel staff with them. Landslides. When an earthquake hits a hilly or mountainous area, like Baguio City, materials such as rocks and soil are loosened and start to move downhill. This results in a landslide. Rocks and soil may fall at high speed, or they can move at a slower pace, as in the case of a mud flow. The 1990 Luzon earthquake that destroyed more than 10,000 hectares of prime agricultural land in Nueva Vizcaya were damaged either by landslides or flash floods. Major roads and bridges were destroyed, preventing disaster responders from coming to their aid. Balcom Pass, one of the busiest mountain passes at that time, was made impassable by the earthquake. Residents of Nueva Vizcaya had to travel 24 hours to get to Manila just to sell their vegetables. Imagine that happening today. Liquefaction. Liquefaction is a phenomenon in which the strength and stiffness of soil is reduced by shaking brought on by an earthquake. It occurs in soil that is saturated with water. Normally, the water in the soil pushes against the soil with a small amount of force, and soil particles do not move against one another. When an earthquake occurs, the water starts to exert a greater force on the soil particles. That force is big enough to enable soil particles to move readily relative to each other. When that happens, the soil softens and anything built on top will be destroyed, seemingly swallowed by the ground. Fire. Large earthquakes can also cause fire. An earthquake can shake electrical wires and topple electrical posts. Sometimes, power lines can break off, starting large fires. Pipelines in some cities may also be broken during a strong earthquake. When large communities have old wooden structures, fire causes great destruction. In the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, for instance, the fire destroyed 500 city blocks in a matter of 3 days, nearly leveling the city. Safety measures. The following are some points for you to remember to avoid undue loss of lives and property during an earthquake. Before an earthquake. For individuals, find out if your office, school, or factory has an emergency plan. If it does, make sure you know how the plan goes. If it doesn't, take the initiative and encourage your companions to help you make one. For families, 1. Have a battery-powered radio, flashlight, and first aid kit ready at all times. Make sure everyone knows where they are stored. Keep extra batteries on hand. Store canned goods, water, and other supplies you and your family may need. 2. Learn how to perform first aid. 3. Know where your gas tank and water valves are, as well as your electric fuse box. Make sure all responsible members of your family know how to turn these off. 4. Secure heavy appliances to the floor and anchor heavy furniture such as cupboards to the wall. 5. Don't put heavy objects on high shelves. 6. Devise a plan for members of your family to stay together during an earthquake. 7. Practice an earthquake drill regularly. For communities, earthquake drills are a necessity. This way, everyone will know what to do in case an earthquake hits. During an earthquake. For individuals, 1. Stay calm and stay where you are, whether you are indoors or outdoors. Many people are injured trying to enter or leave buildings during an earthquake. 2. If you are indoors, stand against the wall closest to the center of the building. You may also stand against a doorway or stay under a desk or some other sturdy furniture. 3. If you are in a moving vehicle, stop the vehicle and stay in it until the tremors stop. For families, 1. Make sure that every member of the family seeks shelter under heavy or sturdy furniture. 2. Direct each member of the family to stay calm and stay away from objects or materials that might fall. After an earthquake. For individuals, 1. Check yourself and other people for injuries. Administer first aid if needed. 2. Check water, gas, and electric lines. If these are damaged, close the valves if it is safe to do so. Check for leaking gas for odor only. If it is leaking, open all windows and doors. Leave the space immediately and report the damage to authorities. 3. Turn on the radio for news updates. Use your phone only for relaying important messages. 4. Do not flush toilets until sewer lines are checked. 5. Stay out of damaged buildings. 6. Wear boots, if you have them, to protect yourself from shattered glasses and other debris. For families. 1. Closely examine all members of your family for possible injuries. 2. Check for spots that are likely to catch fire. 3. Do not let children roam around. Warn them against electrocution due to fallen live wires. That ends our lesson on what earthquakes can do and what we can do to reduce their impact on ourselves. Before we finish this module, let's look back at what we learned from our 2 lessons. Earthquakes are caused by the movement of the Earth's tectonic plates, whose motions are powered by convection currents. An earthquake occurs as a result of the buildup of stress along a fault, causing the fault to rupture. The Philippines, having several active faults and being part of the Ring of Fire, is an earthquake-prone country. The location and strength of an earthquake can be detected from its seismogram. Its strength is measured either through its intensity or through its magnitude. Earthquakes can have very destructive effects on the environment. Safety measures must be taken to protect oneself and one's family from the possible dangers that come with the occurrence of an earthquake. That officially ends our module on earthquakes, mga ka-learners. I hope this lesson has given you a better appreciation of just how strong and how unpredictable earthquakes can be. I also hope you now know what to do in case you ever get caught in one. Remember, we are in the Pacific Ring of Fire and earthquakes are inevitable. Stick around for a short quiz on what you have learned from this lesson, or log into your online LMS account and take the quiz there. Stay safe and see you again soon, mga ka-learners!